Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to Earth Awakens. You may have heard or read that we as humans reincarnate, and before we incarnate into our lifetimes, we are given a selection of lives and family units that we want to be part of, and we're able to choose from those with the help of our guides and our guide councils, and to pick the best lives that will help hopefully promote our growth and learning in that lifetime. Often that is presented with challenges, and that is designed to help us grow and overcome maybe past shortcomings that we've had in previous lives. So, with the idea that we actually select our life and plan our life, often I and everybody, maybe you, want to know, if I pick this lifetime, why does it suck? Or why did it not turn out awesome? Why am I not having the life of Taylor Swift, for example? Not that I'm sure her life is a picnic, but as an example, why aren't we all Taylor Swifts? And the reason for that is both simple yet complicated. And the reason being that before we come here, as part of the planning that we do, we actually come up with a set of goals with our guide and potentially senior guide that we want to attain during this lifetime. Now, when I say goals, it is not sell 1 million albums or heal 10,000 people. It is more like, well, if I'm put in a position of power, do I not have the greed for that power? Do I not use that power to lord over and dominate over those around me? Am I able to be still a decent human being given that power? Or the opposite, given no power, am I able to still live a happy life? Am I able to still find happiness? Am I able to still help others and help bring joy to others and help others succeed and help them in their path? Those are just some basic examples. So on top of that, you may have things like, if you want to become a healer soul, your life may revolve around that, or at least your goals may have revolved around that, that maybe you want to become a nurse or a doctor or even a Reiki practitioner to help people find their path or physically help them heal, help relieve them of trauma, maybe if you want to become a psychologist. So all of those are potential paths, and everything that we are given to see before we choose are not set in stone. That is one of the fallacies that many people have, or one of the ideas many people have that isn't correct. Our lives are not set in stone. If they were, there would be no point in incarnating. There would literally be no reason to. Everything we do here on earth, we have free will. Everyone has free will. And sometimes that free will means that we won't tick the box that we wanted to, that we won't walk down the path. It can be a small thing or a big thing. Maybe we had wanted to meet one of our soulmates, and for whatever reason, the choices we made and the choices they made, that didn't happen this lifetime. The paths are there, and our guides try to help us, but they can't make us do anything. Your guide can't force you to do anything. If you're supposed to walk left and you decide to walk right, walking left would take you to your soulmate, but walking right means you didn't meet your soulmate. Well, your guide can only sort of whisper in your ear, if you will, or send you messages via dreams, or send you signs that maybe you are or aren't looking for, both consciously and subconsciously. So you still have free will, and we can fuck things up pretty royally. Pardon my French. I'll try not to swear a lot, but we can really make things go down the wrong path. Some of us have done that. An example would be choosing drugs and choosing that type of a lifestyle. And one of the worst things that drugs do that we are not even really in touch with is they kind of shut down your soul, and they block out that spiritual power, the spiritual path. They might even dampen the signals from your guide so that you're not even basically getting the signals or getting the signs. So that is not something you would choose to do. Maybe you would choose a life where it might put you in danger of that, and the whole point is for you to overcome that. And that's my belief, that all of those bad things that happen. And I'll get to that in more detail in that in a minute. But the bad things that happen are challenges for you. So, why does your life suck? I could say probably two things, because other people have exercised free will to impinge on your life, to impact your life. Maybe they abused you or harassed you or assaulted you, or, there's almost limitless ways people can affect our lives in a bad way. And that's one main one, is that free will, because again, everybody exercises free will for good and for bad. And, we're especially vulnerable to that as children. Obviously, we don't come into life knowing everything. We don't know that if we're in an abusive family, that that's not the way it should be or the way things normally are. I didn't know that as a kid. Nobody really does. Now, hopefully in these days, maybe there's a little more resources and a little more help, but there's still many, many, many people out there who are in that type of a household, who have one or both parents that are abusive in many different facets. Those were not choices. I don't believe that any of us choose to be in that situation. We may choose to be in a challenging situation, but things that people do to us are free will. Even if it was something that you had a soul agreement with somebody to do, let's say that you wanted to be in a family where you chose to be in a family where your father was maybe verbally abusive or a disciplinarian or a hyper religious, and the whole purpose was to sort of frame your life and then figure out how do you overcome that. Now they may take things to an extreme, or maybe their life choices will take them in a different path, and even though they're still your father, it's not the way you guys had planned it beforehand. That is why we keep coming back. The free will is the random factor, the chaos factor. Life on Earth, life in the 3D, is, for lack of a better word, seductive. Foods are tempting, drugs are tempting, physicality is tempting. All of these things can pull us from what we really wanted to accomplish. Some of us more than others, obviously, and some of us find our way eventually. Maybe you had planned to do something like a healer, but you don't find that until later in your life. Or you don't wake up. The whole idea of Earth Awakens, you don't really wake up to your spirituality until later in life, like me. That is what happened with me. There is still time while you're here. What you do while you're here does matter. And yes, there are lessons to learn. There's no punishment, but there are lessons to be learned once we go to the afterlife, once we work with our guides, once we pass on from this lifetime. There's no evidence that there is a hell. There's no evidence for demons or anything of that nature. I'm not denigrating anybody's religion. I'm just going by what people have found in their researches. Again, someone like Michael Newton, who's done thousands and thousands of past life regressions and life between lives. There's no evidence for demons. There's no evidence for hell. What there is accountability with your guides and with your guide council for the things you do. And for those who do severe damage, there may be other consequences. For someone who perpetrates evil, I don't think that they have a normal afterlife per se, where they're learning their lessons and working with their guides. I suspect there's more for them. We don't really know, because those usually aren't the type of souls that will come to someone like a Michael Newton for a regression. And maybe because they don't come back, maybe if they're so evil during their life, I shouldn't say they are, but they perpetrate so much evil during their lifetime that they don't reincarnate. They don't incarnate again. Because incarnating is not an absolute. It is an option, and we choose. Just like I said, we choose our life. We choose to come. We choose to incarnate because it helps us grow. And Earth in particular, being a very difficult and seductive planet, makes it very hard to execute what we want to execute. But it's that much more fulfilling and that much more valuable, and we learn that much more by having been here. So if your life is not what you think you set it out to be, or maybe you've had a session and you found out, well, I really wanted to be someone in power, or I really wanted to be a doctor, but I'm not. You're still here and you still have time. Until your last breath, you still have time to put things on your right path. You can't undo history, but you can do good from now on. And you can do those things that you want to do going forward. So even if the family you chose wasn't great, like I said, maybe you had a horrible family, or maybe you just had an average family and, your parents did the best that they could with the tools they had and the lifetimes they lived. We all get damaged being here. So some of us can forgive our parents for their small accidents, and some of us have parents that maybe don't deserve forgiving, and you may or may not find it in yourself to forgive them eventually. That is completely with you and your decision. I wouldn't tell you one way or the other. I think in forgiveness we find freedom from whatever it was, but that's only my point of view. I would not tell anybody that they have to forgive someone. There are some pretty heinous things people have done, loved ones, and sometimes even worse to loved ones. I don't think that that means you're a terrible person, that you're going to be punished. Like I said, there's no hell. The scars that you have incurred are yours, and your past is yours to overcome, hopefully. And I wish you all the success in overcoming those hurdles and setbacks that have been put in your life. Some of those may be the work of your guide trying to help you achieve your goals. And as I mentioned, probably a lot of them are just other people exercising free will. And regardless of that, you're still here. You're still drawing breath. Your brain still works if you're watching this. And if you're watching this, you're either awake or you're waking up or trying to wake up. And that is a great sign, because that means you still have lots of time left and you can still make your life what you want it to be. And one more note I just want to say about lives and people seeking out manifestation. I know that's a big topic on YouTube and something that I investigated myself. And a lot of people talk about, well, you can manifest. We are creators. We can manifest. That is true. We are creators. Our souls are destined to be creators someday. Do we have the power to manifest things now? Yes. And we have help. You have your guide. Even if you've never talked to your guide or didn't know you had a guide, we all have guides. The guides are always available. Are they always watching us? No, not necessarily. But remember that on the spirit plane or the spirit realm, or whatever name you want to give it, time doesn't have any meaning. Time only has meaning in the context of our universe and its time. So it's quite easy for a guide to pop in, pop out. It's quite easy for souls to pop in and pop out. Some of us may have a grandparent or some other ancestor or parent who check on us from time to time. I know there's a lot of supernatural stuff out there, and who knows, maybe that's spirits popping in to say hello, or just southern, naughty spirits popping in to scare the bejesus out of us. I don't know. That is not my area of expertise. But anyway, I will say that you can call to your guide anytime, and your ancestors. And if your mother or father, parents, grandparents, somebody you're very close to has passed on, you can still call out to them. I have my father and my uncle both visit me in dreams from time to time. Not constantly, but they'll show up from time to time. Do they always say something earth-shattering? No, they don't. But it is nice to see them in my dreams, and I think that is somehow me visiting them or them visiting me. But if you're in need, call out to your guide. Speak out. Say, hey, guide, I'm going to meditate, and can you tell me what to call you? What's your name? Or I really need help. I really need to understand, how do I get out of a situation? Or I need help making a decision. Should I move? Should I not move? Should I stay in this relationship or should I get out of this relationship? They're not necessarily going to tell you yes or no because that's not their job, but they might give you signs for you to follow that might lead you in a certain direction. One thing that I do is when I'm trying to make a big decision, for example, do I want to stay where I am now or do I want to move to a different place? I will put it out there. That's what I call it. So meditate on it. Think about it occasionally. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Meditation can be 10 minutes out of a day, it can be 5 minutes in the middle of the day. Sometimes it can just be while you're driving your car and you put it out there, you think about it, ask your guide, hey, I'm still thinking about this. Should I go move to XYZ state or should I change jobs? Or my job isn't really what I want to be doing. Can you help me find the right path? Just put it out there. Think about it for a few minutes. Have a conversation with yourself and let your guide know what it is that you're asking, what it is that you need. Our guides, in theory, can be mind readers, but I don't believe that that's really their job. When you ask for help, that is when your guides will help. So you have to make it known. Hey, I want help. Hey, I need help. Hey, I really need some help here. And don't be afraid to ask. And I know maybe it sounds silly, but, people pray to God all the time. Well, yeah, there is a God. There is a creator. There is an all-powerful creator of everything. But it's my belief, and I think many people's beliefs, that there are agents, divine agents of that creator. And one of those aspects is our guides. Are they angels? I mean, you could think of them as angels. I don't think of them as angels, but, in that context, you might want to think of them as angels. Are they divine? Yeah, as much as we all are. They're not evil. They're not out to hurt you or interfere. So in that respect, they are divine and they're there to help you. You have a guide. I promise you, you have a guide. You may not have talked to them. You may not have felt their presence for many different reasons, but open yourself to their presence and make sure you're specific. I'm talking to my guide. I'm thinking about this is what I need help with, and I need to know what solution it is. It's usually not going to be something obvious. It's not going to be a guide coming into your house and opening the cabinets or knocking stuff over. That is most likely some other kind of malevolent or naughty, for lack of a better word, spirit and discarnated. I've seen enough evidence to know that that's a possibility. So it's not going to be something like that. It's going to be much more subtle. It might come in the form of a dream. It might come in the form of a sign. For example, one time I was walking in a parking lot and I had been thinking about something and I found a quarter. And it actually wasn't a quarter. I think it was $1 piece from Aruba. And that sort of clicked with my mind about something I was thinking about at the time and trying to figure out an answer to. It can be the strangest, weirdest things. And just kind of be open to those. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be something obvious. You can ask for a sign. You can say, hey, I don't know if I believe you, but can you give me some sort of a sign that you're really there? Show me something specific. It may show up. It might show up in your dream. And, people who have studied psychology might say, well, you planted it there yourself. That's true. You might have. Part of it is about belief and having, for lack of a better word, the faith that there is someone there to help you and to help guide you and to help you on your own path. They're not here to fix things for us. They're not here to necessarily rescue us. They're here to help us on our path, because the whole reason we're here is to learn and grow and walk that path, whatever it is. Even if it's a rocky path at first until we find our way. That's why we're here. Remember that. That's why you're here. You're here to walk the path. There would be no point if life was a cakewalk. If from day one your life was a Taylor Swift life and you didn't have to do anything to get it. Now, don't get me wrong. Taylor Swift has worked and she has not had a cupcake of a life. Is she successful now? Yes. And I guarantee you she's worked damn hard to get there. So I don't think her life is a victory tour either. I think she's worked very hard. And I think that through her work And her spirituality, whether she exercises it or not, she helps lots and lots of people with her music. Music can be very strong and powerful sign and emotional mover. I use her as an example because she's so successful right now, and people might think, well, Taylor Swift has an amazing life. Well, I hope she does, but it's not a picnic. I can guarantee you that. Life on earth is not a picnic. One of my favorite things to say is almost none of us are here on a victory tour. Some of us may take a lifetime off where we kind of cruise, but most of us here on earth are here because it's a hard place to come. Earth school is a hard school. Some of the regression people have talked to souls who have said there are other places, and I believe that. There are other planets to incarnate on. I think we tend to stay toward the same planet because we get used to how to function with the vehicle, this human body. And I'll get into that on another video, but not important right now. So just know that you're here because Earth is hard. You chose to come here. And, maybe you regret that. Maybe you're feeling so low that you don't think there's a way out, but there is a way out. There is a light coming. Ask for help. People can be cruel. I get that. People can be mean, but there are good people out there too. There are good souls out there that are helping people, most often quietly. Ask for help. Ask your guide for help. Ask your guide to put someone in your life that can help you. Don't give up. You're still here. You're still drawing breath, and Earth is hard. Remember that you challenged yourself to be here. You chose this. You chose this life. You chose this planet. It wasn't an accident. You weren't stuffed into a body by accident. You chose it, and you chose to be here now with everything that's going on, with all the turmoil and all the chaos and all the negative energy. And you chose to be here to challenge yourself. Never forget that. And you can overcome your challenges. You have that ability. We all do. Every one of us, or we would not have bothered coming. We are all divine souls. Right now, we're all divine souls riding around in a human vehicle that has some of its own thoughts and feelings. So remember that. But you're a divine soul. You're working and cooperating with your human vehicle, but you're working as one unit. You are inseparable until you pass. And it is what you have to work with. Meditate. Remember that meditation isn't thinking about things. It's trying to think about nothing and letting things come. That's sometimes when you'll get those answers. That's sometimes when you'll get that help. Sometimes you'll get that divine feeling that you're not alone. It's hard to get that. That is one of the things that makes our school so hard, is when we're in these bodies, we're divided from everyone. We have separation. That's the reason we come here, because in the spirit realm, you don't have separation. You can mix and touch your friends, your other spirit friends. You can share energy. You can share your thoughts, your feelings. We can't do that as much here on Earth. Some of us who are quite evolved can, but it gets hard and you have to work at it. So work at it. Meditate. Love yourself. And I will love you too. I will send you love now. And remember that you chose to be here, and you chose it because you knew you could succeed. Your guides knew you could succeed. Your counsel knew you could succeed. They're not stupid. They've been around for a very, very, very long time. They're very old souls, very evolved souls. They know you can do it, and I know you can do it. Become what you're supposed to become. Let's take just a minute and allow me to send you some of my energy. And it doesn't matter that you're watching this later, a year from now or a day from now. Energy is timeless. And I am sending you my energy. And I know that you will do great things and you will become what you're supposed to become. Every day, try to walk in the light, walk in love, and live in the light. Recognize, but don't buy into the darkness. There is lots of darkness out there right now. There are lots of people who can't feel that light. There are lots of people who are feeling separated. Remember that they feel so separated. Sometimes love can overcome that. And sometimes that's not their path. And sometimes we just have to accept that, even if they're family, love, friends. All we can do is try to love them and continue to try to find the light for ourselves and share the light, share the love. Remember, love is not a zero-sum game. Love is one of the few things that the more you put out, the more you get back. Remember that. And I love you. Your guides love you. The Creator loves you. You're here for a reason. You chose to be here. Now go become what you're supposed to become. Thank you.